Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Botcast, your go-to destination for insightful conversations on the latest developments in Gen AI. I'm Manza, your host, and join me in welcoming Partha Niyog, founder and CEO of Vantage Circle. We'll be exploring the topic around generative AI in employee engagement. Great to have you with us, Partha.
Thank you for having me on this podcast. Something really interesting topic. So I hope I'll be able to contribute something.
Partha, before we dive into the specifics, could you provide our audience with a brief overview of your journey and your current role at Vantage Circle?
Yeah, so I'm the CEO of and founder of Vantage Circle. We started a long time back. We don't call ourselves a startup now. It's been 13-year long journey. Not This was not something which we had envisioned for ourselves, but as we moved along, we found the areas where we could contribute and where there was a business case, and we started evolving the product in that direction. So today we are an employee engagement platform where we have multiple modules: employee rewards and recognition, spot award, peer recognition, manager appreciation, those kind of things on the platform. That's like our spearhead, I would say, the main product or module which we have. We also have modules around employee wellness, because we feel the employee wellness is more of an engagement activity rather than I'd say a way to reduce your premium, insurance premium. We see wellness as an engagement activity which can lead to those outcomes which you desire in terms of reducing your premiums and all those things there. I mentioned that because most companies look at wellness as a insurance related stuff which is there. The third module is we have on an employee listening tool. We call it the sentiment analysis tool, which is there. And it's basically a way to continuously listen and get the sentiment of your employees. These are the three main modules which we have today. We also have small other modules like employee discounts there. And as we are progressing, we are seeing other opportunities also in this engagement space. But all these are independent modules on the same platform, which you can enable it anytime that you want. We are bootstrapped, we are profitable. Our main areas of focus or the geographies of focus are India and the US primarily. But we are also venturing into this other areas like Middle East and Southeast Asia also. So that's a quick description of what we do.
Thank you for that background. Diving into our main topic, Partha, can you explain the role of generative AI in employee engagement and how does Vantage Circle leverage this technology to enhance the overall employee experience?
I think generative AI was something which was always there. I think what's new is the generative AI part of it, right? Or at least when I say new, as in new in the public domain, it is new. And I think there are lots of ways in which companies are or HR is using generative AI. For example, creating personalized workflows for employees through chatbots such as yours, the smart bots kind of thing, voice assistants, coaches, so these are ways in which one part how HR is using it, creating personalized and conversational workflows. It is also being used to augment employee skills. For example, if you're a coder, generative AI is able to help you do better coding there. Or if you're a writer, a content writer there, or you're a professional HR professional who just wants a presentation and all, these are augmenting your generative AI is helping you, give out better outputs which are there. And third, I think, is also about it's generating insights and recommendations based on all the data which AI is looking into. Okay, recommendations on how you should do something along the way. Even for employees, based on their data, their preference, they're able to generate the career paths of people. Now, this third part, which I am saying, is I think sometime away. I mean, it is happening, but sometime away from being really, really mainstream. But at least on the basics of it, looking at the data and giving you, helping you augment your output there, those are already in place. I mean, I see HR using that, starting to use it in a big way. On the recommendations part, giving you insights, I think it'll still take a little bit longer.
That's fascinating to learn how you are leveraging AI to personalize employee experiences. Building on that, can you share any case studies where Advantage Circle has successfully used generative AI to streamline HR workflows? And it would be insightful for our audience to understand real world applications.
So I'll give you a very small example of how we have used generative AI. Okay. So we have this whole rewards and recognition, right? So what is one part of that? You have to write some message. So Mansa, good job done. Okay. And I want to appreciate you for certain things as well as certain of your skills. But it is very, very difficult for people to write. I know it intrinsically that why I want to appreciate you, but I don't know how to write about it. Okay. So you see on those company, birthday cards and all, right? You will see most of the comments are happy birthday, right? Everyone wants to write more, but they don't know how to go about doing that. So what we have done is when you write citations, in our case, you have to write Mansa, good job done, XYZ, this is something great and all those things. You're saying it's difficult for people to write. So how do you go about it? We say, pick up two characteristics of Mansa, okay, which you like. Maybe she is innovative. Maybe she is a team player. So pick up those two or three characteristics and generative AI actually generates that message for you. And it's random. It's not that every time you pick up those two skills, it'll be the same message which will be there. It generates that message for you. And then, of course, you can edit it and make some changes to that. A very small application, but you'll be surprised to see how many of the companies actually think that is a great feature, okay, that they're really using this feature. So this is one example in which we are using it. Along the way, right now that's the key area where we are using it, but along the way we also see, particularly in our Pulse tool, okay, giving recommendations based on previous data, being able to predict what is going to happen if Partha is answering these questions in this much time, this kind of responses, then what is the possibility of this person leaving? Okay, let's say just one example. What is this? That predictive nature of it, we see possibilities and we are working towards that direction where we are able to predict based on the data which we have. We have a lot of data, right? We have the R&R data, the rewards and recognition data. We have the data on wellness side of things if people are using that module. We have a lot of information from the HRIS systems which are there. We have the survey answers response there. All this data, we are working towards making it more predictive for the HR people. They can determine what's going to happen or what steps they need to take. So that is the next stage in how we are seeing, for at least for our case.
Now let's address the challenges. On the flip side, where you see today's biggest practical limitations around leveraging generative AI and HR, are there any areas where businesses need to exercise caution?
In the HR space, I think it is complex. Okay, there are lots of human factors, emotions, motivations, behaviors, context, and the culture which are there. How is generative AI giving you some data? So giving you some information. They are based on a lot of data sets which are there, right? And a large data set on which they are doing. But we are not at that stage where AI is able to take all these nuances into place. So I think AI might be struggling to handle this ambiguous and conflicting data or scenarios there. So I think we have to take it slowly. We can't be like expecting that you just give in some input and or look at the data and giving you some output. In HR particularly, a lot of human factors are there which needs to be taken care of. Second is that I already touched upon this point about AI is able to produce things because of the large data sets. Most companies individually might be having small data sets. Okay. It might face challenges in analyzing the data and coming up with the correct response with the small data sets which are there. So we should be aware of it. Okay. So we should take the help of AI there, but we should also understand that yes, the constraints were there, the data sets were less. So how do we interpret the answers? There is also this factor about, because of the small data sets, it is the biasness might creep in there. So you have to be very, very aware of it. And the last thing I would say is handling the humans. I mean, you have to be very transparent with how you are using AI, what is the information being used, okay, and what kind of responses are getting generated. You have to be very transparent with people. It's ultimately human emotions. If they feel that oh, my performance is totally data driven. My data driven as in like from my data sets, my appraisals are being generated by this thing. My hikes are being generated by this. I think people will have their concerns there. We have to be very sure that we make it very transparent that this is how you're using it. Currently, these are the things which you are doing with this thing, but there's a human angle to it. Of course, there's a human supervision to that. So that kind of transparency needs to be there, which HR should talk about. So basically, I said like human nuances are there. We are still not at that stage of AI. Okay, it will come. I have no doubts about it in the future that we will be able to overcome this challenge. But as of now, it is not there. So we have to be aware of it. Small data sets. Third is the clear transparency with your employees on how you are using this thing. So these are very important factors which HR should think about.
You definitely make excellent points around data quality and oversight. But as we navigate this landscape, what best practices would you advise HR teams exploring generative AI to adopt? Are there pitfalls they should be mindful of during the implementation process?
Yeah, I think it touches upon the previous answer which I gave there. One is be very, very clear what you want to achieve by using AI. Are you trying to do it for increasing efficiency, reducing cost, or are you using for predictive purposes? What exactly are you using AI for? You should be very clear on that and make it transparent to the employees what you're using that for. I think that's one thing which is there. The second part is try to use as much as possible a diverse data set. Every company has lots of data set, but you don't want the AI to look only at one part of the data set. As much as possible, increase the data set which is there. uh, Continuously monitor and evaluate these tools. Okay, you will see some biases creeping in along the way. So you want to make sure that what you are seeing is, you know, uh, continuously keep on adapting it. Okay, and look for the biasness which are happening with a bigger team, not just one person, with a bigger team. Continuously keep on monitoring, evaluating that part. So what happens, I mean, just as an aside on this point, you read up any magazine or any article on the newspaper. If you're an expert in that area, most of these articles look very amateurish. If you're not an expert, then it looks very, deep. And you say, oh, this is like a real great insights. Any finance article you pick up, someone who's from finance, they'll find, okay, this is like, okay, they have not looked into all these factors. Today also, when I use ChatGPT and find some answers, I don't really find them very insightful around the rewards and recognition or employee engagement space. But because I'm an expert, I would say, because I've been doing this for so long. But if this was looked by someone else, okay, who was not in this space, they might like, oh, this is great answer. Let me implement these recommendations. You should be aware that they are not at that stage right now. Okay, so you should use your human judgment around that. Data privacy issues. Okay, you want to use all the data set, but who knows where it gets leaked out? Okay, which all information you can use. I think that's another area which HR needs to be very, very clear about from an implementation point of view. So I think these are very important. But if you have an overarching thing, it is like you want HR people to be aware and on top of AI. Today, they're using the tools for basic things, but as it is getting used for more and more impactful decisions, it becomes very important that you know what AI is capable of, how AI is doing, and keep abreast with whatever the latest developments in this space. So I think the rest of the stuff will anyway keep on coming in, but as long as you're aware what is happening in AI, as it is progressing, I think HR should take an extra step to learn more and more about AI, not specifically to HR, but just to learn more and more about what's happening, what all things they can do with it, how is it affecting, how are they generating the responses. Just a basic level of understanding should be definitely there, not just have a tool and start using it kind of thing.
Partha, now let's broaden our perspective. Looking ahead, considering your extensive experience, what role do you see emerging technologies such as Gen AI and machine learning playing in shaping the landscape of HR over the next few years?
I think I'll just add a point here is that It is going to have, okay, let me make one statement. It is going to have an immense impact. Now, we of course overestimate what is going to happen in the near term when we underestimate what's going to happen in the long term. So the hype which is there today, okay, that might, like, there's a trough of disillusionment which might come. Oh, I was Gen AI can do this thing, that thing, all those things, which is but it can't do all those things, or it is not as good the response is. But that's a short term impact. Okay, in the long term, it is only going to get better and better, and I have no doubts about it that it will impact all our lives, every area of our lives in a huge way. And I'm scared at the same time as well as hopeful about the possibilities which are there. See, correct. You need to be aware that just because, last November it was like a big deal because that was when it came out, right? Today, I think that hype, the marketing hype or the social media hype has reduced a little bit. It's a short term thing. The impact in the short term is not going to be that huge, but in the long term, it's going to be huge. Now, in the short term, I see it being used, particularly in the HR space, improving efficiencies, reducing costs, simple things in HR, right? You want some information about certain things. Today, you have to raise a ticket, someone will get this information for you and give it to you. Now, AI can just look at all the data sets and give you the simple answers. Okay, how many leaves are there? What is the policy around that? Those are simple things which I am saying, but it increases the efficiency of the whole process. Reducing cost, you don't need five people sitting and manning all the tickets. They can be done that. Increasing the employee experience, by doing, again, sticking to the same example, the experience is much better for employees. So I think these are parts where companies are already using the systems and or moving in that direction to use AI. Increasing efficiency, reducing cost, improving employee experience. That is where the focus is now. In the future, I see it more uh, AI being able to generate more insightful responses, okay, and being able to make predictions based on the data. It takes some time there as the data sets improve. It'll take some time there, but that is where we will see a major impact coming in. Okay, human mind cannot process all this information and come up with our a solution. An AI can. I mean, there may be, I don't know, 10,000, 100,000 times more powerful than the human brain, which is there. So I think when it comes up with more the predictive part of it, I think that's where we will see the impact coming in. Now it's just increasing efficiency, augmenting your skills, reducing your costs, which are there from the HR point of view. I'm saying that. So yeah, those are areas where I definitely see in the future it will have a huge impact.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Partha. But before we wrap up, one final question. How do you envision businesses, both large enterprises and SMEs, in incorporating generative AI driven strategies into their employee engagement initiatives in the near future?
So I think it just touches upon my previous answer only. Right now it's about efficiencies augmenting. I need a PPT based on last year's data. Actually, yesterday I was using AI, the chat GPT there, wanting information about Infosys revenues in the last 20 years. Now, I could have, of course, gone to their public filings and looked at each of these. It would have taken me an hour maybe. Okay, I got this in like 5 seconds or something. Then I said, hey, I want to get this information in today's value. Okay. Again, they just did the inflation thing, put up the data. Another 10 seconds or something, I got that answer. So for me, it's helping me make my decisions faster. Okay, because the information is coming out faster. It is just making me more efficient. That is how I am seeing HR using it today, making it more efficient. Second, augmenting your skills. Microsoft already has this co-pilot thing where, you write a piece of code, the co-pilot actually helps you improve the code, making it more efficient there. Or you don't know a particular coding module or a language, it can help you do that. So I think augmenting the skills is something which is there. Then I see presentations, okay, or writing content. So we have a huge content team who generates this content. Now we already see them prompts, giving the right kind of prompts, they're able to come up with a much better article. It's not like that they come up with the AI comes up with the article and we publish it. No, AI comes up with the thoughts there. we refine those thoughts, and it gives us more areas in, okay, this is an interesting point which the AI has made. Let me look this up more, okay, and complete this article in a better way. So I think it all touches upon, the same things, it just increases my efficiency today. Okay. My skills, they're augmenting my skills, increasing my efficiency, looking at this data set. So I see this happening. Large companies are in a better position. When I say large enterprises, like say 5, 10,000 people companies, they're in a better position to utilize these tools because for them, the efficiency can be it can hugely reduce their cost. For 100 people company, we might say, like, okay, I have to look at it. How much efficiency is there on this thing? I don't know. Okay, maybe just one person job, they're improving there. So I might not feel that how much cost it is benefiting. But in large companies, they can see an immediate impact of that. Company like Infosys, my assumption is before AI, they would have like maybe 100 people team just answering employee tickets. For 250,000 people, they would have 100 people do that. I am sure now that can be reduced to 10 people. Right? So large companies, the impact is very, very visible even now. Okay, when we are using the very basics of AI. Smaller companies, it is lesser, but we will see the impact in the future.
That sounds promising, Partha, and we truly appreciate your time and insights today.
Thank you, Mansa. Hope, we are also learning, and I think maybe in a year's time, if we have this podcast again, we'll have very different answers. Who knows? Who knows what the future is?
Thank you once again. And to our viewers, stay tuned for more engaging discussions on podcast. Until next time, this is Mansa signing off.